And then we've got the donation portal, or yeah, your donation portals. And I meant to bring this over here. Twitch just launched its own donation portal. So keep that in mind as we talk about the next slide. So I know most of you probably have some sort of peer-to-peer fundraising software that you use, right? Where people can create their events online, create their own fundraising page, things like that. You need that here too. Like you need that, but not all of them are appropriate for the technology, right? So I've identified the three that I think are probably the best to use in this space. I'm not recommending one over the other, either way. And there are many more options than this. But just be aware, right, that this is kind of the ones. But a little blurb that was on the previous slide that I should have moved over to this slide that said Twitch has just opened up its own donation portal has the potential to turn all of this on its own. Really interesting. And this was just announced like a month ago. So, it's really interesting to see what that's going to do to this space and to these companies, truthfully. It's going to be interesting. So Tiltify, I think most of us probably have heard of Tiltify. Tiltify is really interesting because it is really tailored to live streaming, and they've sort of built the rest of the peer-to-peer stuff into it. It's what we use, integrates with Salesforce and a lot of other CRMs. So does Donor Drive. Donor Drive also integrates with Salesforce pretty seamlessly. It's fantastic software too. But Tiltify, you can really tell that the technology of live streaming really led the way on that. They've also recently announced that they can do cryptocurrency donations for a small additional fee. You can integrate that into your Tiltify. And also they have something called Crowd Control, which is a really fun kind of plugin that you can use with gaming to basically, if you donate, you can choose how to make the game more difficult for the content creator. It makes for some fun things that happen. So Tiltify is one. Streamlabs Charity is great because it's free. It's absolutely free. It tends to attract the people who are already using Streamlabs as their OBS. This just sort of integrates super seamlessly with that. So if you have not created an account on Streamlabs, I would recommend you do it just because it's sitting there. People can find you. They can start their own events for you. And it's great. It has a lot of currency options for people too. So when you are running a global program, that's really important. Tiltify, has various pricing plans, as does Donor Drive, depending on how much support or what kind of package you're looking for. And like I said, Streamlabs is a super cheap, easy, and accessible way to enter this space without having to shell out a lot of revenue, depending on how big and how hard you want to go initially. What I really like about Tiltify is the API and data tracking, full reporting, things like that. Same with Donor Drive, right? I mean, you pay what you get for sure with those guys. Like you get all of the data and everything that you could possibly want about your creators and things like that. But understand the data that you're going to get is never going to be ideal, right? Anonymity is part of the space a lot of times, especially for the donors. Content creators less so, but for their community and their donors, a lot of times all you'll get is an email address and how much they donate, right? So you have to be willing to make that trade-off 100%. It reminds me a lot of the crypto donation space. Whenever I get a crypto donation, a lot of times that's all I'll see about. Oh, wow, we've only got 20 minutes left. Could you further clarify the relationship between Twitch and these third-party software? Yes. So if someone is streaming on Twitch Cat and they're asking for donations, this is the donate button. These are the different software that they will use to actually donate. And then that money comes straight to you. And they accept donations via PayPal and Stripe is usually the two platforms. So if you don't have Stripe or you don't have PayPal, you may want to look into figuring that out. It is not important to accept crypto donations, not at all. I tend to go off on down a rabbit hole with that. So don't worry about the crypto part of it. I just find it interesting that it is something that is now beginning to incorporate into the space. In fact, I would say gamers hate crypto people. I've seen some pretty extreme reactions to anything crypto involved, NFTs, anything like that. So a lot of times they are like oil and water. They don't mix at all. So yes, Twitch is the community where the streaming happens. Tiltify is the donation tool, right? So Tiltify integrates seamlessly with Twitch 100%. Which is why I'm saying some of the peer-to-peer fundraising that already exists isn't the best fit for this space. It doesn't integrate at all. It doesn't provide all the bells and whistles that streamers. Donor Drive is great in that it was a peer-to-peer software that now does streaming and does it very well, right? So it just depends. But that's kind of the three that I think most of you will want to know about. I've had some streamers build their own software, right? I mean, I've seen some charities build their own software. 100%. There's a million different ways to do this, but this is the top three I think that most people would be aware of, and that would be the easiest for you to access right now if you just tomorrow decided you were doing